If your chicken is still clucking and you're bitching in the kitchen 'cause your cooking ain't good looking and there's nothing left to save, watch this show and suck it up, 'cause even you can't fuck it up. If you're tired of all the bitching and your food is awful sickening 'cause your cooking ain't good looking and your friends are not that brave, watch this show and suck it up, 'cause even you can't fuck it up.
Today we're going to do meatballs. I love meatballs. You love meatballs. Honey, you like meatballs?
I love meatballs.
And they're so hard to make. Nah, they're not hard to make. They're really easy. I'm going to show you a really easy recipe for meatballs that even you can't fuck up. For one thing, you're going to need meat. We're going to use ground beef in this case. This is an 80-20. 80% meat, 20% fat, fresh ground. You're going to need garlic. You're going to need seasoned breadcrumbs. You're going to need pasta sauce. And you're going to need eggs. Usually about 1 egg for every pound of meat. So first you're going to put your meat in the bowl. Into a bowl. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. Easy, right? And then just use your fork to break the yolks. Beat them a bit. And pour them on top of your meat. And then we're going to take our breadcrumbs and basically enough to cover the meat.
How many cups is that? 1.
About a cup, more or less. These are seasoned breadcrumbs, Cento brand, good Italian stuff. Now for the fun part. All right, I'm going to wear gloves. You don't have to if you don't want to, but I do. And you're basically going to fold the eggs and the breadcrumbs into the meat. You don't want to do too much to this because the more you work with it, the tougher the meatballs are going to get. So just enough so it's really thoroughly blended. Just squeeze it in like so. Until you don't see any liquid egg or any raw breadcrumbs. So peel yourself 6, 7 cloves of garlic, about half a head, and then just chop away. Don't chop your fingers because this isn't finger food, this is Italian food. Actually, just about every culture has their own form of meatball. But we're going to do Italian style today. You want to do a relatively fine chop. Just keep running your knife through it and through it and through it until you see it about like you want it. And then just put it right on top.
Where's your new scraper thingy I bought you for Christmas?
That's a good question. Where is it?
In the drawer right where you're standing.
In the drawer right where I'm standing. If I had known that 2 minutes ago, I would have used it. Anyway, put your glove back on. If you're using gloves, most people don't, but one of us is in food service, so we know better. And then just squeeze in your garlic. I do this one-handed. 2 works just as well. Yes, I know the garlic is coarse, but it's going to cook. It's going to mellow, and it's just going to permeate that meat, and it's going to be oh so good. And there we are. Some people like big balls. Some people like small balls. I use this scooper that came with my coffee maker. Makes a pretty good sized ball. And just form them like so. They don't have to be perfect. They don't all have to be the same size. Round is better though. And so on and so forth. Now we're going to be preparing these two different ways. The first way is in the oven. So while you're making your balls, preheat your oven to 400 degrees and just let it go all the way up to temperature. So after a few minutes of rolling, you end up with something that looks like this. Yum! But they're not ready yet. After your oven's preheated, take your cast iron frying pan, because you don't want to do this with Teflon or anything else, and pour about a 1/4 inch or so of good quality olive oil into the pan, like so. And then put your meatballs into the pan. Like so. Make sure that you leave a little space between your balls. Open your oven. Put them into your oven that's been preheated to 400 degrees. And then set your timer for 20 minutes. And leave them alone. Now, of course, the oven is the traditional method, and it's a perfectly good method, although I find out that it does dry out the balls sometimes. I use a slightly different method, and when I told my sainted adoptive Italian mother that I did this, she told me first that I was full of shit, and then when she tried one, she said, "God damn it, what'd you do that tastes better than mine?" So here's my method. We pull out the Presto Fry Daddy. Put no more than 3 into your spider because you don't want to do too many of these at a time. It will lower the temperature of the oil. Gently put them in. And we're going to fry these for about a minute, maybe a minute and a half. And we're just going to let them fry. After about 30 seconds, give them a little stir with your spider. And roll around in the oil. I put in a little chunk of garlic just to make sure the oil is the right temperature, and it is. Another 30 seconds. Now the object of this is not to cook them all the way through. The object of this is to just flash fry them, make a seal, so that when you put them into the sauce they don't dry out. And after a minute and a half they should look like that. See? Bella. And just like that, with a minimum of fuss and about maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes each, this is what you end up with. Deep flash fried meatballs. They're not cooked all the way through yet, but they're seared on the outside enough to seal in all the juices, and that won't run into your Sunday gravy. About halfway through the 20 minutes, open your oven, give them a little shake just to roll them around, and leave them go. They're almost done. Okay, so time's up on the meatballs that are in the oven. Make sure you're wearing an oven mitt or a very heavy very heavy pot holder. And they're browned. They're not. And after a few hours simmering in the sauce, you have this. And you made it all by yourself, and you didn't fuck up. And there you have it. A meatball recipe so easy even you can't fuck up. Manja.
If your chicken is still clucking and you're bitching in the kitchen 'cause your cooking ain't good looking and there's nothing left to save, watch the show and suck it up, 'cause even you can't fuck it up. If your turkey tastes like oil and your water doesn't boil and you're sick of making bacon in the microwave, watch the show and suck it up, 'cause even you can't fuck it up. If you're tired of all the bitching and your food is awful sickening 'cause your cooking ain't good looking and your friends are not that brave, watch the show and suck it up, 'cause even you can't fuck it up. Recipes even you can't fuck up.